Now to CBS News foreign correspondent Remy Inocencio in our London newsroom. Remy, good morning. Great to see you. So what are we hearing from Tehran about this memo, what the U.S. describes as an agreement?
Right, Errol, good to see you. Iranian state media are reporting that this is a 14-point draft agreement, and they're citing a source close to the Iran negotiating team. Now, as it pertains to oil prices, top of mind here, Tehran says that it could reopen the Strait of Hormuz within 30 days. And then, as Ed was just saying, one of the key issues remains, has always been, for the U.S., Iran's nuclear program. Now, in this Iranian text, Tehran says it would reaffirm its commitment to not develop nuclear weapons, but it did not give a timeline of that 15 to 20 years that Ed was just mentioning. Also, Tehran says that a final agreement on those nuclear issues would be reached after this 60-day negotiating period. But there are some challenges. There are some hurdles here because they say that any talks to get there need to address several things. One, to unfreeze billions of dollars in Iranian funds. $12 billion they're asking for. There's a total of $24 billion being held. They're asking for the suspension of oil sanctions on the sale of Iranian oil that's crippled the economy. Also, the lifting of that U.S. blockade, of course, of the Strait of Hormuz. Notably, one last point, Iran says that discussions about its missile program is off the table. Also, its support for its proxy groups here, Hezbollah and Hamas, off the table. They say explicitly excluded. But these are things that Israel has been demanding. Israel not a party to this potential understanding, this MOU. And again, for Iran, all this still needs final approval. So all of these 14 points could change.
And we've heard earlier this hour some describe this as almost whiplash, the idea that the president is threatening Iran, attacks are coming, but wait a minute, we have a deal, we're negotiating. How have markets been reacting to that constant back and forth?
Right. Well, investors at this point in time, because of this news, they appear hopeful that a deal is near. But again, we have been here before. They're on risk-on mode. Markets I've been looking at across Asia and Europe, they're almost all in the green now. U.S. futures for the S&P and the Dow also higher, too, as we're just a few hours away from the market open. And the price of oil, always the barometer here of what's happening. The price of Brent crude is now just a little over $87 a barrel. And it has not been that low since the early days of this war, since even before the start of this war, frankly. One caveat to this, though, is that even if all this goes ahead, even if the talks continue on for the next 60 days, we could still see oil prices jump sometime in July. That's because there has been this huge emergency release of 400 million barrels. This was back in March, and that ends in 4 months, March, April, May, June, July. And that runs out then. So this all still needs to be solidified with the signing. But you were talking about the back and forth here. Not my count, but Tasnim's news agency, this is Iranians, one of Iran's state media, said that President Trump, by their count, has said a deal was imminent 38 times in the past 2 months. So we're looking ahead to this next week to see if this one actually does get done.
Maybe the 39th time is the charm. We will find out.
Maybe.
Remy, thanks so much.